Hi friends, it's Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and today I am going to share with you 3 absolutely delicious Mexican recipes. I guess my husband and I just lately had just a Mexican food kick. It just sounded good to us, and so I made 3 different recipes, and I'm sharing that with you. All of these recipes can be found in the description box below. I've left links to them. They are so good, and I hope you do give them a try. The first thing I did was start by making the enchilada sauce. I got this recipe from a YouTube channel named Simply Mama Cooks. She has some amazing Mexican recipes. They're just delicious. And I was always under the impression that enchilada sauce was made with tomatoes, and I was wrong. It's just chili powder. And so I tried her recipe, and I have to say it is so good. And you can see me here mixing it together. I have another video that I made on enchiladas already, which I'll also link below. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going into detail on this one, but just the only difference I would say here is that I made the sauce according to her recipe using just chili powder. Once the hamburger was all cooked, then I wanted to wash out my cast iron pan, and this is the way that I typically do it. I put in some water and kind of loosened up all the bits that were in there, dumped that out, dried it off, let it heat up again, and added some oil to the pan. And I'm using this oil to soften up my tortillas. You can do it in the microwave, which I do that sometimes, but I actually like the flavor better this way. And this is a little trick I learned watching her videos, and you just kind of put the excess oil onto the next tortilla. And I think I did maybe 9 or 10 tortillas in total. You'll also need some Mexican cheese. You can use any cheese you want, but I really have enjoyed that Mexican blend cheese from Costco. And I just kind of rolled them all up, and I took leftover cheese, and I had a little bit of hamburger left over, so I just sprinkled that on top. And then it was time to pour the sauce over. I kind of use a knife to make sure that the sauce gets in between each of them, and I top it with some cheese. I covered it in foil and baked it in the oven. I had some enchilada sauce left over, and you'll see at the end of the video how I used that. These turned out so good. We really enjoyed that enchilada sauce. I served it with the salad and some extra chips and salsa. It was a delicious dinner. I've made these sheet pan chicken fajitas several times, and you start by mixing your spices together. And it's a really delicious blend of spices. And once you have that all put together, you just kind of set that aside until you're ready to use it. The next thing you're going to need is your vegetables. You can use any peppers you want. I had a green pepper and a bunch of mini peppers. You can buy red peppers, any kind of sweet peppers, yellow. And you slice these up very thinly. And the next thing you're going to need is an onion. I have about a medium-sized onion that I peeled, and then I cut it in half, and I did the same thing. I just sliced it up real thin. Then I put all my veggies in a bowl, and I set that aside, and now it was time to do the chicken. I had 2 chicken breasts that I used. I think it equaled about a pound of chicken, maybe a little bit more. And I added those to the bowl, and I just used my clean hands and kind of tossed it all together to mix it up. Now it was time to sprinkle the seasoning over the top. And then again, using my clean hands, I just kind of mixed it up. I kind of did the seasoning in 2 parts because I didn't want it to clump. Now I was preparing my sheet pan. I put parchment paper down. You don't have to do that, but I just like it for the ease of cleanup. You put all of that mixture onto the sheet pan. I spread it out and drizzled some avocado oil over it. You can use whatever oil you would want. And I kind of stirred that around. At that point, I put them in the oven and baked it according to the directions on the recipe. And this is what you have when you're done. A whole lot of deliciousness. I then sprinkled some lime. You could use a fresh lime. I just had that in the refrigerator, so use that. And then to eat them, you just put some of that meat and veggie mix onto a tortilla. I used flour tortillas. I drizzled a little salsa on the top and a dollop of sour cream. And fold them over and enjoy. I served that also with a salad. This recipe was a recommendation from my daughter. It was the first time I tried it, and boy, did we enjoy it. To begin with, for this tamale pie, we are going to make a crust. And for that, we're going to need cornmeal, baking powder and salt, a little bit of honey, some milk, melted butter, a can of green chilies, and a cup of frozen corn, and 1 egg. I almost forgot to add that. I lightly preheated my cast iron frying pan just because I think it works better so things don't stick. And I am going to be adding a little bit of olive oil. You could use coconut oil, which I think is what is in the original recipe. I am going to pour my crust mix in here, and then we are going to bake this in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. While that is baking, I am going to start making the hamburger filling. I'm going to go ahead and season the meat a little bit. This wasn't in the original recipe, but I like to make sure that all of the parts, the layers, have some seasoning going on. So I'm adding salt and about a teaspoon of chili powder and about a half a teaspoon or so of cumin. I'm going to go ahead and let this cook until the onions are soft and the hamburger is completely cooked. The recipe calls for 2 cups of homemade enchilada sauce, which she gives the recipe for. I have about a cup of enchilada sauce left over from when I made the enchiladas previously. So I'm going to put that in here and fill it to the 2-cup point with salsa. My hamburger has cooked, my onions are soft, and now all I need to do is wait for the crust to come out of the oven. There is our beautiful crust. All right, I'm going to top it now with the hamburger mixture. And our enchilada sauce goes on top of this next. And lastly, I have some Mexican style blend cheese, and I'm going to top it with that. Now we're going to bake this again for 10 minutes so that the cheese can melt and all these flavors can blend. I have to say that this recipe was a definite keeper. We will have it again. The flavors just were amazing, and it was so simple to put together. I had it on the table in probably a little over 30 minutes. And like I said, we really enjoyed it. I topped it with a little bit of cilantro and some extra sour cream, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. If you try any of these recipes, I hope you come back and tell me what you thought of them. And thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? I really appreciate that. All right, you guys, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.